It was in Las Vegas, and they honored George and Nas and Rakim and a lot of other rappers. Dr. Dre actually came out from the audience and he was like, while George was doing the panel, and he was like, I just want to let y'all know, like, this man right here is the reason I am who I am. And there would be no Dr. Dre, which means no G-Funk, no Snoop Dogg, no this, that, like, and everything that came from that if it wasn't for this guy right here.
Yeah.
And that meant so much we can see it in the music.
Welcome to Overeducated and Underemployed. We got a great show this week. Shonda Clinton from Parliament-Funkadelic, she's a vocalist and the tour manager for Parliament-Funkadelic, dropped by to talk about the P-Funk Festival. Let's take it to the stage. There's a link for tickets available in the description of this episode. We also talked about growing up as the granddaughter of George Clinton and being the tour manager and vocalist for Parliament-Funkadelic and the P-Funk All-Stars. So we had a really interesting talk. I hope to have her back because I feel like there's way more we can talk about in the future. But we really wanted to talk about this upcoming festival because it's the first year of it, and it's a super cool thing to have here in Tallahassee. I'm sponsoring a show with Danny Bedrosian of Parliament-Funkadelic this Friday at the Blue Tavern in Tallahassee. He's going to be doing a solo set of Parliament-Funkadelic songs from 1975 and giving a history lesson talk from his book, Make My Funk the P-Funk. So come on out to that. It's P-Funk Week, P-Funk Fest, April 11th at the Phipps Farm in Tallahassee, Florida. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an all-day fest, and George is going to be there all day. I'm going to be broadcasting live from the event, doing some interviews, maybe some recording some performances. And so I'll be doing some live broadcasts and recording some future episodes at that fest as well. So come say hey. Lots of cool stuff going on. I've got some shows coming up myself. March 20th at the Rec Room, I'll be with Sean Lubin and some other comics, Carol Hatcher, Caleb Thomas, LaRon Josie Jr., doing a headlining set with Sean. We're double billing that show. It's going to be a great one. Come on out. That's March 20th. Then I'm going to be up in Athens for a couple of days of April. One of those shows is in Winder. One of those is at the Flicker. So looking forward to those shows too. Check out this P-Funk Fest. It's going to be amazing. It's all day. I think there's like 14 bands. We get into it without any more delay. Here's my interview with Shonda Clinton. Welcome to Overeducated and Underemployed.
Thank you for having me.
I'm here with Shonda Clinton.
That's me.
The Sativa Diva.
That is I.
And you're a member of Parliament-Funkadelic?
Yes.
A vocalist and composer?
Yes, I have it. I
take the credits you can get.
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah. Yes, I am.
And you're George's granddaughter, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You are also the organizer of the upcoming P-Funk Fest here in Tallahassee.
I am that. That is what I would love to discuss with you today. Yes, the P-Funk Festival is coming to Tallahassee, Florida, and it's going to be all the things of the P-Funk universe.
I'm super excited about it.
Me too. I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. I'm going to start by asking the same question I ask everybody on this show.
Okay.
And then we'll go anywhere from there that you want to go.
Let's do it.
What is the first song that you remember loving as a kid?
The first P-Funk song I remember loving. It's a lot. When I grew up with them, maybe Knee Deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember like any memories tied to that song?
My mother played it to death.
Okay.
My mother played it to death.
Yeah.
It was a household favorite.
When was the first time you started going to see the shows?
Oh, I've been going to the shows all my life.
Like since you were a baby?
Yeah, my mom has pictures of me when I was like 8 months with her holding me in the audience. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What What was that like?
Ah.
Because I feel like that's an experience that not a lot of people have, right?
Well, George is a ham. And he's the same on and off stage. Awesome growing up.
Yeah.
He was always a fun person.
He seems like he would be a great grandfather.
He is. He really is. And fun. And,
yeah.
And he loves music, all kinds of music. So I've never had the grandfather that's not good for you to listen to. That's the kind of music that he likes.
It's the kind of music he makes.
Yeah, exactly. That most parents don't want their kids to listen to.
Right, right.
That's when George says, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when did you decide that you wanted to be part of it all and not just like in the audience?
Okay. I've been working with the band for over 30 years. I came out when I was a teenager. I first started in 1994 when I was 15 years old on the Lollapalooza tour. I was doing merch I was probably doing merch for about 4 years or so.
I sold merch as a teenager too.
See?
That was my first job.
See, exactly. Yes, and then Gary Scheider, rest his soul, one of the artists that are usually in the show, she wasn't there that day. So he's like, Stevie, all the words. And I'm like, maybe, but I don't want to. And we were in France at the Hot Brass Club in Paris. And he was like, go ahead, get on stage and do the show. And I'm like, but what if I forget the words? And Gary said, in Gary fashion, they don't know. I said, hey, you know what? They don't. And that began my rap career.
Especially in France.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
I definitely don't know there.
Yes, and I rapped for years and years. And then after a while, I went back and got a degree and came back and did tour management. And now I am a festival organizer.
So I feel like George always integrated all types of music
Always.
into his music and made it something different. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like the 90s, around the time that you're talking about,
era.
is around the time that he got more and more into hip hop, right?
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit and like how that came about, how he...
Yes, the West Coast is definitely what brought a lot of George's music to the forefront in the 90s with all the Snoops and Dr. Dre's and
all that being sampled, yeah.
every Los Angeles cookout, the G-Funk era. And that's when all of the rappers began to come to him because it wasn't just the samples, because of course the samples are cool, but George is cool. So it was cool to have his samples, but it was even cooler to have George.
He's
on
like the
album.
epitome of cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when I seen my favorite rappers calling George their favorite artist. That's when it was like, wow, mind blown. Snoop, I love Snoop. And Snoop was like, no, I love George. And I'm like, George? Oh, I guess,
So did you think he was cool growing up, or was he just grandpa?
He was cool. He was always cool because he's a cool guy. But he was just grandpa, you know.
And
he always acted like grandpa. It was never security. It was he just wasn't that type of guy. He's just.
But when your favorite artists start telling you
then
that,
I'm like, oh, he really is the guy.
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, all of the Scarface.
Like legitimized it for you.
My favorite artists from the 90s, Scarface and Snoop and all of them, I love them and they love him. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I can see how like that gave you that outsider perspective, because you grew up with it just always being there and maybe even taking it for granted sometimes.
Right. Oh, definitely.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a second.
Mm-hmm. I'm with the man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So you started tour managing at one point.
Yes.
I bet that was one of the hardest jobs.
It is. I'm still the tour manager right now.
Okay.
I am the tour manager.
Oh, so you got to manage Danny too. That's got to be like herding cats.
Danny is one of the.
Yeah. So we've both known Danny a long time, so we get.
Yes. Me and Danny were actually in a group together.
Right.
Besides P-Funk, we were in Children of Production.
Right.
So yes, Danny is family.
I remember. So I carried that record at Vinyl Fever back in the day. Yeah,
that was a great.
That was
record.
one of the records that Danny had. That's how I met Danny.
Okay, nice.
Because I ran the local section, and Danny was bringing the self-titled, the Sweet Mother Child, the People Connection, all that stuff. Anyway,
Yes.
that connects it all for me too.
Yes, and becoming a tour manager, I mean, I was already there, just learning the ins and outs. When I first came in and I was doing the merch, my aunt and uncle, Barbarella and Sean, were actually working with the tour managers at the time. So I got a lot of insight from them, so it wasn't much of a turnover and they all loved me, but I wasn't Little Shonda anymore now.
Yeah,
the
they had to
tour
listen.
manager.
You're the one that has to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be when they got to be there.
Exactly, and that's hard to do.
How did you handle that dynamic shift?
It wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard
because everybody in the band is my family, and they all have the utmost respect, and they all see that I was always a boss. So it wasn't far-fetched for them to see, and I'm cool. I try to be.
Yeah. I mean,
I want the best for them, so
cool.
everybody understands and appreciates that. Right. It doesn't seem like I'm being bossy if the end result is helping us all.
Yeah. And sometimes people need to get
a
kick in the ass.
Definitely, for sure.
So, how has that job changed over the years? I can think of a bunch of things that categorically that have changed, whether it's the technology and the way that you book things, to the costs that are involved in the insurance and everything. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced over the years that have changed?
With being involved in the whole industry over the last 30 years, everything has changed. The way people listen to music, the way they buy music, the way they record music.
The way artists make music,
exactly,
too.
And the way artists make money, and the way everybody makes money, and the cost of things. It's all relative. But the one thing that's the constant and will always be the constant is live music. It's going to be there. We can have all of the AI and everything, but getting on that stage is different. And that's something that P-Funk has mastered.
I've seen at least a dozen P-Funk shows over the years. Probably 20 or
mastered,
more.
And this isn't with a lot of artists. Majority of artists tour when they have an album, or a hit album, or something they're trying to produce. I've been in a band over 30 years, and we've been on tour every year for the last 30 years. Yeah. And that's only 30 years for me. They've been on tour since Atomic. I think
50 years before that.
Yeah. I think the only time he took a break, it might have been a couple of years in the early 80s or something. He doesn't stop.
And even then, it seems like that was when he was starting to get more into doing film cameos.
Exactly. That's when PCU and
I love
House
that movie.
Party.
That may have been my first exposure to George.
And you know
PCU.
what's so cool? And that's what's so cool about George. It's how he completely reinvents himself over and over. And
Harriet the Spy.
Yeah. And I meet so many people, and
it was Good Burger.
Good Burger.
Good Burger.
And I was gonna say, like, throughout the eras, he completely reinvents himself, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so, like from PCU and what was that, the early 90s?
94, I think it was. Yeah,
94.
Yeah.
And I think House Party was a little later than that.
Yeah, and I think PCU is one of those movies that's it's like more relevant
now
than it was.
It's a cult classic.
It really is.
It's one of those.
I love that movie.
And so those were the early 90s, but then you had the 2000s when he did Good Burger. So he's complete.
And
so
I was a kid when that came out. So
yes,
that was
and you have all of these generations that are being reintroduced to him over and over again. And then just look at it as right now, he just did Trolls. So he's King George. So these are all new That's why this festival is going to be so awesome, because this band is so multi-generational.
And he's turning 85 this year.
He's turning 85 this year.
And what I love about this fest is it's celebrating his music, but also all of the music that
legacy,
spawned from
the diaspora of Parliament-Funkadelic.
Down to the God Behind Marching Band, which my mom taught at Godby for 37 years.
I love
that. So she's super excited for that, too.
I love that. Yeah, and to incorporate the community into it, I think is going to make a big impact. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, and we've played, I don't even know how many shows I've done, or even how many festivals I've done, but none like this.
Yeah.
None. Like, where's all P-Funk all day.
Can you tell me about what was the original inspiration to do it? Is it something you've been wanting to do for a long time?
Yes,
or?
it is something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. I've been talking about it for years and beating the band members in the head. I'm gonna put the festival together. Watch, and actually, I think the reasoning behind it is I always thought it was so cool the way George did the shows in the '70s, and it was Build Parliament-Funkadelic, Boosie's Rubber Band, Parlette, Brides of Dr. Funkenstein, and they were all the same people.
Yeah.
And that's what we are now, to a certain extent.
Yeah,
like,
Danny's going to be playing in like 8 bands
exactly.
that day.
And the same with Lodge, and the same with
Benzos,
and we have so many fans that each of the bands have their own niche. You got a lot of the bands that love Secret Army, a lot of the bands that love 420 Funk Mob and Lodgedelic, and
I know a bunch of people that are excited to see the Solar System play it for the first time in like 15 years.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be that's
Yeah. So they've never seen them all together. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the mothership and all the other ships. I think that's what makes it different. And with this, our fans are like family. They've been fans for longer than I've been alive. We have fans, and so this is more like a family reunion. I look online and I see the different advertisement for the festival, and I see some fans like a lady that's in LA and somebody that's in New Jersey, and they've been Facebook friends for 15 years, but they're like, I can't wait until we get to Tallahassee and have a drink and hug each other at the festival.
I've never heard that sentence before. I can't. I'm sorry.
Funk will do that.
Hometown. I can.
Well, P-Funk will bring the people to Tallahassee.
I'm excited for that. Like, that's we never get any. We get like 1 or 2 cool things a year. Like, Word of South is always
Word of
cool.
South is awesome.
And it's gotten like substantially better over the years too, and it just keeps getting better. And most of the time, stuff like that gets like, when it's not cool, or like the things that happen to make things, it's usually because of like neighbors complaining about noise.
Right.
How have you navigated all of that sort of thing in putting this festival together?
At Phipps Farm, which is the address is 4300 North Meridian, where the festival will be. It's actually private property.
Right.
So there's that aspect. But we've definitely tried to navigate and make sure, even with it being private property, to make sure everything is going to be great for the event.
Yeah.
Working with a civil planner and just making sure we have everything covered in all the areas.
Yeah.
And making sure people are able to enjoy themselves, and where it's located is not many neighbors.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. So it's not going to be.
And they all get passes. So.
Exactly. We've already established that.
That's what good neighbors do. When you throw a party, you just invite the neighbors to the party.
Yes, they get a pass. We're inviting all the neighbors, and that's the cool thing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of land.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's going to be awesome.
I love going hiking out there.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see all the fun.
In that area, that property itself.
Yes.
That the fest is on. I don't think I've been to, but there's a park up there.
Yes,
that's public,
that's also their property up in there.
Yeah,
so it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see all the funk fans with the P-Funk signs in the air, all excited and happy. It's going to be awesome.
What are some of the things that you have been doing over the last few years that led to this, do you think?
Touring.
Yeah.
Always touring.
And managing those tours. Yeah.
And I'm a realtor, and I also do mortgages. I'm a lender. So just more so than anything, I think just trying to uphold this legacy of George's and the whole P-Funk overall. That is what led me to it, because luckily, right now where we are, George is really getting his flowers from across the board through the industry. The Walk of Fame and the Grammy, the Lifetime Achievement Award. Actually, right now, Maggie Brain has been inducted into the Grammy Museum, the album Maggie Brain.
That's my favorite.
Me too.
That's my
Me
favorite.
too. I think that's actually my favorite P-Funk song.
Yeah.
Maggie Brain, yes.
Yeah.
All of the accolades that he's getting right now, I think is awesome. And it also brought me to where I am now, thinking that everybody should be a part of it. the whole P-Funk universe, the whole diaspora, everyone that has helped him to be where he is now, and to make everyone feel that it's just as much theirs as it is his, because that's how he is.
Yeah,
Another Gary Scheider quote: "We are no better than our surroundings." And George is like that. If you look at the pictures from back in the day, you'd be like, which one is George? And he purposely did that. He's not the standout type guy. You know?
Yeah.
You know, fortunately enough, the media and stuff, they zoom in on him because he's got that charisma. But
it's infectious.
It's infectious.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
One thing that you mentioned earlier that kind of struck me to something I think that's helped George like preserve his legacy. Somebody, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I've heard that Kendrick Lamar reached out to George and was like part of him restoring, like, all right, I got to really protect my legacy and make sure that
that might have been a part of it, because he loves him, and Kendrick is really cool. And he loves Kendrick and he loves his music. And they've done a few songs. So Kendrick actually came down here to Tallahassee when he worked on that first song on Kendrick's album. So yeah, that definitely might.
So I just saw this like parallel between back in the day, your favorite rappers like really looking up to him, and then that kind of being like part of it. I feel like I don't want to say like a comeback, but I feel like him really like coming back out and protecting his legacy, restoring, and like putting this like all the things you're talking about, the Walk of Fame, being in another movie,
and all of the things that
us
as the family, his family, and the P-Funk family, just all of the things that we are trying to do to celebrate the P-Funk universe. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the festival and
those Word of South shows were beautiful.
Those are
too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Those are really, really cool.
That one last year was really spectacular.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the one before that was really good too, but it got cut short.
Yes.
So I was really happy that they like were like, all right, take the main stage.
Yes.
And there's gonna be some involvement with Word of South this year too. I know there's gonna be like a Secret Army show at least.
Oh, definitely Secret Army's.
And I'm not sure if there's is there a P-Funk show as part of Word of South this year? Or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not.
Then you'll have to come to P-Funk Fest to see it.
That's what you will have to see. We will let you know at the P-Funk Fest.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go. Tell me more about what all is going to be going on in the P-Funk Fest. I know there's 14 bands, 15 bands.
To say the least, yes, we have. It's going to be 12 hours of fun and funk. It's going to be
the perfect time of year, like the weather.
The weather should be awesome. We're going to have vendors and food and crafts, and it's all ages. We're looking into a silent disco with the God Be Marching Band. That we're going to do a ribbon cutting because this is the first inaugural, and it will happen every year.
Nice.
The marching band, high school marching band, art installations, as well as different activations from our different sponsors that are going to be there. We're looking to have a component of all the archive things that he's done, you know, like all the different works and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an artist, you know, definitely to put a spotlight on his art. But all of the different bands, 420 Funk Mob, Tallahassee's own Kendra Foster.
Oh, yeah, I love Kendra.
Yes, that's my sister.
Oh,
420 Funk Mob, Lodgedelic. Simma Funk is going to sit in. Norwood Fisher is going to sit in, as well as a lot of other special guests. So we're not going to announce everything. You got to come to see.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And as well as 3GP, which are all of the younger third generation of Parliament. We have Peso Paid. He's from here in Tallahassee. 13 is from Tallahassee.
Solar System
Delic.
you mentioned earlier.
Solar System is here from Tallahassee. Pharaohs of Funk.
Oh, yeah. Pharaohs of Funk is
they
great.
Will be there. Yeah, it's going to be great. Star Child Jr., God's Weapon, and so many more. We're going to have a lot of pop-ups and special guests and things like that. It's going to be awesome.
What are some of the biggest like challenges, or maybe something unexpected that came up
that's
when
coming
organizing?
up with this? Oh, it's a lot.
I'm sure there's a laundry list of things that,
you know, just scaling it So it makes sense for us for the first one.
Yeah.
Because more so than anything, I want it to be a celebration. I want it to be intimate. I want the fans to feel like they're a part of something special. You go from this big thing, okay, let's have 3 days and 5 stages and do we really want to even try to do that right now? Let's let it organically grow. But
Well,
with
especially
this
when there's
one,
so many of the same musicians, it makes it easier to you have things backlined on stage. And
exactly.
you have so
So
many
I
of the
think that's
same
great for this first
equipment
one, for the
setups.
foundation
Yeah.
of it. I think it will. I think it will take
Well,
legs
and then you
grow.
don't have to pick who you go watch. Like
Hello.
as a fan of festivals, my biggest frustration
It's choosing which one you want to watch at one time. And that was the one thing, like even as we do grow and we have 2 and 3 stages and things, I don't want you to miss one band to see the other. So anytime we have our shows, it will definitely be staggered time so you can get a chance to see all, because everybody deserves a chance to be seen, especially when we're doing it. This is the family, the P-Funk family. We don't want you to have to choose which one that you're going to watch.
Right. Well, and plus some of them would have to. The scheduling would be a nightmare. I feel like too.
Right. Yes.
You would need like the craziest Venn diagram or the Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly. To make it make sense.
You guys have played a ton of festivals over the years too.
Tons, really big ones.
What are some of the things that you think you learned by playing festivals that you've put into organizing festivals?
One thing I learned is not to be the fire festival. But
like remote locations are always
that's wishy-washy.
Yeah.
I've learned that it's a lot of moving parts so, to make it make sense, because you can get overwhelmed with the ideas of things. Making it make sense where it doesn't fall through, or now what are we going to do with this, and then with us doing it ourselves, this is not Live Nation or any big promoters or anything. This is the family that's putting it together. So
a lot of people, that's a selling point, right? In not being Live Nation or something like it, because
but that's also not having Live Nation money. Also,
yeah, that's true.
That's the engine behind that.
Yeah.
It's just coming from another level of promotions, So I think that becomes a little difficult.
Well, I think there's a reason that punk and funk rhyme. You always they run on the same budget.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that for sure.
And I mean that in a good,
I
like
definitely
an innovative DIY
Yes.
creative way.
Yes.
And it's one of the things I love about both, and you see it in the art too.
Yeah, you do.
You see it in the art.
The expression.
There's like that kind of like almost like folk art kind of aspect of Parliament-Funkadelic. I think that like when you look at the mothership, it looks like, like aliens actually built, but they had to use some scrap metal maybe here and there too.
Exactly. But P-Funk is just different. P-Funk isn't just funk. Like
no.
It encompasses so many different things. It is hip hop and it's R&B and it's rock and it's jazz and it's blues and it's all of the things that, no other genre.
Who says a rock band can't play?
How about it? How about it? And George is just, and I just have such a respect for just his ear of everything. Like he loves everything, like all kinds of music. And that's what music does. Music moves and removes.
Yeah. And I think about over the years, just as a fan of all of them, like the whole collective, the live shows are always like what it's been about. Even when you're like portraying it in a movie like PCU or something like that, it's always the live show. It's always the party.
Yeah, the party. That's
the party
what it is.
that goes all night and like
ain't no party like a P-Funk party, because a P-Funk party don't stop.
Your feet will fall off before they stop playing. Yeah.
Yes, I remember doing a show at Tipitina's in New Orleans in the mid to late 90s. And this was actually, I think it was it might have been after Smoking Grooves, which was 1997. So we did, when we do festivals in P-Funk, This is how P-Funk does festivals. We do a festival in the daytime and we get an hour or 45 minutes or whatever. And then we do a full-blown show every night. Right. So we did a show in New Orleans, wherever we played at the arena or outside. But then we played at Tipatina after. The show was 6.5 hours. When we came out, the sun was up. The sun was up.
And I've heard like stories like that from all over. Like,
all over, from all over,
and
decades and decades of it. Like the stories behind P-Funk are just like priceless. Just to hear people, and anybody you meet and anybody I meet, and I'm like, yeah, I work with. Oh my God, I met, and it was crazy. The stories are awesome.
Yeah. I went to a show at the Moon one time that, like, I feel like Scott was probably pissed. Like, he was like, come on, y'all. Because
are y'all gonna stop?
He couldn't serve alcohol anymore. It was after 2. So he's like, I'm not making money anymore, goddammit. And I'm still having to pay my security guys.
Yes, I'm sure, because that's what the P-Funk is. If we don't have a curfew, you're gonna have to pull a plug.
Yeah.
And he's still that at 85.
Yeah, if those Cascade shows, like, they literally basically had to pull the plug.
Yeah, they have that clock on the stage. And if you don't tell him, he's going to be fined if you don't get off on time.
That is speaking George's language.
Oh, yeah. Now, when you tell him he's going to be fined, then he's going to get everybody off stage.
I'm a comedian, so I'm used to seeing that clock.
Yes.
But it depends on the audience, whether that's a good or a bad thing. Because if it's going well, you don't want that clock to end. But if if they don't like you.
You're like, where's the clock is not ticking yet? Yes.
I got to ask, what are some of your favorite, do you have any like favorite shows or fests or anything like that you remember playing over the years?
Man, I have a lot of favorite
Anything that sticks out?
Definitely that show in Tipatina. Yeah. That was one for the history books.
Sounds like it.
I don't think I've ever done a show that long. Literally to the point where the band is 30. At that time, the band was probably 45 band members. And I don't know if Tipitina's is a house.
Yeah, no, I've been there. Yeah.
So we literally the band members had to take turns, clear the stage. And we had 4 and 5 guitar players, 4 bass players, 3 drummers. So it was just like switch all night long. So that's definitely one for the books. I love a place that we play in Amsterdam. What is it called? I can't remember, but that's why it's Amsterdam.
Right?
That's one of my favorite places. I love Australia. I love playing.
Sativa's real diva-ish.
Oh, yeah. They love her over there. They love her. They love Paradiso. That's what it's called. The Paradiso in Amsterdam.
I've heard of that.
Yes, that's an awesome venue. I love when we go to Australia, but the notable festivals, we've played Glastonbury. Yeah. We've played all of the big giants. We played Sonic in Japan, Central Park in New York. We've done a lot of big ones. The Juggalos.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, and that's just P-Funk. Like we can play a jazz fest today. Tomorrow we're at a rock fest. And the next week we at a hip hop fest. And George knows the audience, and he looks out there and he like, okay, I know exactly what I'm playing. We have some of the promoters. I need the set list.
But then a P-Funk show, when it's not a fest, is one of the most diverse shows you'll ever go to.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's just.
It encompasses all of those things.
Yes.
Anyway.
Exactly.
So he got rock songs. He got rap songs. He got blues songs. He's the guy. And that's why P-Funk is going to be celebrated.
And that's really why you're putting this festival
on. That's exactly why
I'm
putting it on. Yeah. That's exactly why I'm putting it on. That's the whole mission behind it, is protecting the legacy that is Parliament-Funkadelic, that is P-Funk, that is everything that Dr. Funkenstein, the maestro, all of these things that this band has touched and made better. There's so many things. And what is really cool, anybody that's a musician, they know Parliament-Funkadelic. Yeah. They know because they are, I don't like to toot my own horn or that horn, but it definitely needs to be.
I mean, that's what it's here for.
I
That's what
mean,
we are here to do today.
Like, it's just, I think they deserve all the things. They deserve all the flowers, and like I said, George, he couldn't do it by himself, so that's why they are named one of the 100 best bands of all time.
Yeah.
And George doesn't play an instrument. His voice is the instrument, of course. Let's not.
And he's like the
maestro. Yeah.
The master of ceremonies.
Yeah, but Mike Hampton's and Lodge and the Clip Payne.
I mean, I think about someone like Frank Zappa, who did play instruments, but
right.
he did not. Often he would conduct to them if nothing else.
Yes.
The mother,
conductor.
Yeah,
and it's dope. Like, we just did a show. George just did a show in Detroit with symphonic orchestra.
Yeah, Danny was telling me about that.
Like, insane. The things, like, it's just, and
I
the
hope there was
world.
a recording made.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
I think it's
good.
probably going to be released somewhere soon.
Yeah.
But it was the P-Funk Symphonic Orchestra. It was really cool.
There is a video of the National Symphony Orchestra playing Nas's Illmatic with him.
Yes.
That is one of my all-time favorite concert films. Like, just period. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's also like really funny to see like some of these
7-year-old
violinists and standing right behind Nas, just fucking spitting.
Yeah. And that's cool. And it's cool as hell. And Rakim was doing something. Now, Rakim is George's favorite rapper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
all time.
like Paid in Full is one of my all-time favorite albums. So
George
I'm
knows
with him there.
all the rock. He loves Rakim. And we actually did an event, a Paid in Full. It was called Paid in Full. It was in Las Vegas. And they honored George and Nas and Rakim and a lot of other rappers and things like that. And it was really awesome. Dr. Dre came out and he said, he actually came out from the audience and he was like, while George was doing the panel, and he was like, I just want to let y'all know, like, this man right here is the reason I am who I am. And there would be no Dr. Dre, which means no G-Funk, no Snoop Dogg, no this, that, like, and everything that came from that, if it wasn't for this guy right here.
Yeah.
And that meant so much, just to, we can see it in the music, but for him to, wait, I'm not going to let this moment go by without saying what he has meant to me and what his music is. So I thought that was really, really awesome.
One thing that always struck me about his music is it's always about being in the moment.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And being present.
Yes.
One thing that Danny talked about when I had him here were some of these like musical concepts that George had, like the repeatability in it being like so precise. Mm-hmm. And I think about the presence necessary for something like that. Mm-hmm. How when you're playing with so many people and in such kind of a chaotic, it's a psychedelic, chaotic.
A beautiful chaos. Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. How do you stay present and focused on what your part is and what you need to be doing at any given time on stage?
I mean, that's just it. Having the mindset, like, because everybody think when you go on the road, it's a party. You're on tour, you're in these cities, and just understanding that I'm there for a job, more so than anything. And I speak to people a lot, and they be like, oh, you're going to Los Angeles or New York City. Have you ever been here and here?
It's like, no, I've been
to the venue, I've been to this hotel, and that's it. And the
maybe
freeway.
This buffet.
Exactly. So not getting a chance to, understanding that that's a part of the job.
Yeah.
The fun part is for the audience and the artists, to a certain extent, but it's work for them too.
Yeah.
That time on stage is the only time they really get to have fun.
I think
everything else is work.
I feel like that as a comedian, just emotionally sometimes too. It's just like that's the only place sometimes that I'm like happy.
Happy. Yeah.
So when something like that, and I've asked a lot of people this question, when you're on the road, when it is a job, and it is, I don't want to say it becomes monotonous, but it does.
Oh yeah, it does.
I mean, it's just the same as any other job.
Yeah.
What do you do to stay sane and keep your wits? And what are some of the things that you do on the road to feel human?
We're working on this festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes a lot
Are
of
you
my.
are you a
That's
workaholic?
oh,
Do you
yeah,
think?
yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm also a realtor, and I'm
Yeah.
also a lender, and I do a lot of other things, but just trying to. My energy has been on trying to put this festival together for a
Yeah.
long time, or just not even the festival specifically, but just something that's really cool and great that celebrates the band. Having those ideas about, I've been dreaming that up for a long time. But other than that, besides the music, to get into my own music, get
Yeah.
out of Funkadelic world sometimes.
Do you ever try, not to repeat the question that you get all the time from your friends and family, do you ever try and find a museum or a park, or
Yes, I
like
do.
how do you
Yes,
kind
I
of
do, and I
decompress
have
when you're
been
on
trying.
the road?
I have been trying to do that a lot more within these last few years.
Yeah.
I've actually went to a lot of museums and a lot of. When I do have the time, I really am understanding as I'm getting older. I'm not 18 like I was before, and I've
Right.
been to all of these places 50 times and never been anywhere. So it's, you know what? I'm not gonna go take a nap right now. Let's just walk. Let's walk around for a while before the show starts. Or let's just. So I am actually trying to take in a lot more and experience a lot more when I am in town. Like when it's feasible, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's not. Sometimes we straight to the show, straight from the show we out of town. But if we do get there a little earlier, have a day off, I do try to experience things now.
What are some of your favorite places to visit when you're like when are you like, where are you like, yeah, I'm definitely booking a show at this, in this city or at this?
You know what? When we just went overseas this last time, we went to Southeast Asia, and we went to Singapore, Malaysia, Hawaii, Japan. So we actually, as a band, we went four-wheeler, we went dirt bike. We did some cool things
That's awesome.
on it, and we never usually do it. So I actually like, hey y'all, I went and made the plans.
Team
and stuff,
building
like,
exercises.
Yeah. And it was really, really dope. We went on the boat in Hawaii, and as a band, and we don't usually do things like that because we usually don't have time. We were
Yeah,
actually in
yeah.
Malaysia for a few days, so yeah, I went and looked
I've
it
heard
up,
it's
and I got it.
beautiful
Oh
there,
my God,
too.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went and rode the ATVs, George, all of us.
That's awesome.
It was great.
85
And
years old, right?
85, leading the pack. It was beautiful. But yeah, doing things like that, and like I said, trying to make time for it when we can.
What is he looking forward to about this festival?
Everything. I spoke to him last night, and I was just like, so Granddad, when you get there, because you headliner, you'll be there. Like, oh no, I'll be there all day. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on everybody's set. That's what he said. So look forward to that.
Oh, hell yeah.
So don't miss some, because George already said, I'm going to be there all day. He's going to be dancing around with God be. Like, he's that kind of guy.
Hell yeah.
Like, seriously. Yeah, he's very excited, though. He's really, really excited. And that makes me excited. All of the band members are happy, and they are like, it's something that we call our own. And I like the Juggalos. We played a lot. But I think this is, what they...
They're like the most perplexing
Yeah.
group, but like they seem like they're nothing but like fun.
Exactly.
To be around. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's another, when they go into their festival and playing at their festival, we need to do some shit like this. Like, P-Funk is this. Like, why don't
I'll
we
bring
have...
the Fago. That is what they
Yeah.
spread.
That's it.
Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Yes, that's it. That's it. But yes, that made me think, damn, we could do this. We should do this. And they big as hell now. I remember we did it a few times, maybe not within the last 10 years, but we did it a long, like when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And to see them grow, and it's awesome. But P-Funk has those same kind of fans. Like,
Yeah.
that same type of cult following.
You encouraging people to dress up and
Oh
get
yes,
crazy and
please
everything for the fest?
get your delic on. We love to see all the best dressed. We bring it on, all of it, all the things. Yes,
I'm gonna get some like purple shiny pants.
please do.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm gonna drag you. Come
And
on
like,
out.
And like sunglasses that have the curtains.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Kind of like
pull the
kinda
curtains
like
back.
right there.
Some fish in the platforms.
There we go.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Goldfish swimming around in my shoes. Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Although by the end of the night, that fish is going to be cooked.
Yes,
my feet,
literally.
It's going to be boiling.
Literally, that fish is going to be cooked. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Shonda, is there anything else you want to tell us about the fest, or anything else you think I may have missed?
No, but I just wanted to tell everyone, please make sure you come out to the P-Funk Festival. Let's take it to the stage. April 11th at Phipps Farm, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's going to be food, fun, most of all, funk. All ages, all sizes, all races, everyone come out. It's going to be a family reunion. It's not a regular concert. This is all P-Funk, all day, all the way.
Bring your silly string.
Please do.
Yeah.
Bring your flashlights. Bring your chairs and blankets and come
Gotta
out
have your
and
flashlight.
Please do. Just come and get funky with the family.
Shonda, it's been awesome talking
Thank
to
you
you.
so
I really appreciate it. I've got a link to the tickets in the description of this episode, so make sure you grab your tickets right now.
Grab your tickets.
And also, make sure that you say hi to Shonda when you're at the fest.
Please, I will be there. Look for me. I want to come
say hi to
say
me.
hi to you.
I'll be there too.
We are going to be at the festival, and we are looking for everybody to be there. We are looking for all of the happy faces, all of the smiling people. It's going to be great.
Come dance with us.
Come dance with us. I'm ready.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed hanging out with Shonda Clinton, the sativa diva. Man, that was a delight. I hope to have her back on the show. I'm sure that we'll talk during the festival. We'll do some interviews and stuff like that. So look forward to that. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you get notified when I go live from the festival. Come out to the Blue Tavern Friday, see Danny play, and give a history lesson. We got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. Thanks for listening, y'all.